Once upon a time, in the bustling city of Lagos, there lived a wealthy businessman named Chief Richard Wellington. Richard owned several luxury hotels, real estate companies, and transport businesses across Nigeria. He was respected everywhere he went. His wife, Victoria Wellington, was known for her kindness, elegance, and generosity. Together, they had a beautiful daughter named Isabella Wellington. Isabella grew up surrounded by luxury. She attended the best schools, lived in a magnificent mansion in Banana Island, and had everything money could buy. But despite her privileged life, she remained humble, respectful, and kind-hearted, just like her mother. Sadly, when Isabella was 15 years old, her mother fell seriously ill and passed away. The loss shattered the family. Chief Richard tried his best to be both a father and mother to Isabella, but the demands of his business often kept him away. For 2 years, father and daughter struggled to move on from their grief. Then, one day, Richard met a sophisticated woman named Vanessa Kingsley at a charity gala. Vanessa was beautiful, intelligent, and charming. She knew exactly how to impress wealthy people. Within a year, Richard married her. At first, Vanessa acted like the perfect stepmother. She bought Isabella expensive gifts. She took her shopping. She called her my daughter. Everyone believed they had become one happy family. But Vanessa had a secret. She was not interested in Richard. She was interested in his fortune. And she had her own daughter, Tiffany Kingsley. Tiffany was spoiled, arrogant, and jealous. The moment she saw Isabella, she became furious. Isabella was prettier, more educated, more respected, and most importantly, everyone knew she would inherit a large part of Richard's empire. One evening, Vanessa and Tiffany sat together in Vanessa's private lounge. "We have a problem," Tiffany said. "What problem?" Vanessa asked. "Isabella." Vanessa narrowed her eyes. "What about her?" "Everything belongs to her. The businesses, the houses, the investments. People love her. Dad loves her." Vanessa remained silent. Tiffany leaned closer. "Until we do something, we'll always come second." A slow smile appeared on Vanessa's face, and that was the beginning of Isabella's nightmare. The next morning, Vanessa began planting seeds of suspicion in Richard's mind. "Richard, I don't want to upset you, but I think Isabella has changed." "What do you mean?" "I overheard her talking to friends. She said she doesn't trust your business decisions." Richard frowned. "That doesn't sound like Isabella." Vanessa sighed dramatically. "I hope I'm wrong." Days later, she repeated similar stories. Weeks later, more lies followed. Slowly, Richard began doubting his own daughter. Whenever Isabella tried speaking to him, Vanessa found ways to interrupt. Whenever Isabella achieved something, Vanessa minimized it. Whenever Richard praised Isabella, Vanessa changed the subject. The relationship between father and daughter grew colder. Meanwhile, Tiffany constantly mocked Isabella. She spread rumors about her at school. She turned friends against her. She even hacked into Isabella's social media account and posted embarrassing messages. When Isabella complained, Vanessa blamed her. "Maybe you should be more careful online." Eventually, Isabella felt completely alone. Then, tragedy struck again. One afternoon, Chief Richard suffered a severe heart attack during a business meeting. He survived, but his health became fragile. Immediately, Vanessa took control of many family affairs. She convinced Richard to sign documents while he was recovering. Richard trusted her completely. He never imagined she was secretly restructuring ownership of several businesses. Months passed. Then, Vanessa made her boldest move. One evening, valuable jewelry disappeared from the mansion. The entire house was searched. To everyone's shock, the jewelry was discovered inside Isabella's bedroom. Richard was furious. "How could you do this?" "I didn't steal anything," Isabella cried. Vanessa pretended to be heartbroken. "Richard, please don't be too harsh. She's still young." But inside, she was celebrating. The jewelry had been planted there by Tiffany. Richard refused to listen. For the first time in her life, Isabella felt abandoned by her own father. Soon afterward, Vanessa convinced Richard to send Isabella to a boarding school in another state. The official reason was discipline. The real reason was simple. Vanessa wanted Isabella gone, far away from the family empire, far away from her inheritance, far away from Richard. At this point in the story, many people would have given up. Betrayed by her stepmother, abandoned by her father, and stripped of the life she once knew, Isabella seemed to have lost everything. But sometimes the darkest chapter of a person's life becomes the beginning of their greatest success. If you are enjoying this story so far, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another powerful African folktale filled with life-changing lessons. But what Vanessa did not know was that destiny was quietly preparing Isabella for something greater. At boarding school, Isabella met a brilliant young woman named Zara Okafor. Zara came from a modest background but possessed extraordinary skills in technology and business. The two became inseparable. While other students spent weekends partying, Isabella and Zara studied entrepreneurship, investments, artificial intelligence, and digital marketing. Years passed. The girls graduated from university with top honors. Together, they launched a technology startup that helped businesses manage logistics and online operations. Within 3 years, the company exploded in success. Investors poured in millions. International firms partnered with them. By the age of 26, Isabella had built her own fortune. She no longer depended on her father's wealth. Meanwhile, back in Lagos, Vanessa's greed continued growing. She secretly transferred company funds into risky investments. She trusted dishonest advisors, she manipulated accounts, and she spent money recklessly. Luxury vacations, designer clothes, exotic cars, private parties. Everything had to be bigger and more expensive. Tiffany followed the same lifestyle. Neither woman understood business. They only understood spending. Then disaster arrived. Several investments collapsed, major debts surfaced, banks demanded repayment, investigators started asking questions. The once powerful Wellington empire began crumbling. Chief Richard was devastated. As financial reports revealed shocking losses, he finally began uncovering Vanessa's lies. The jewelry incident, the forged documents, the false accusations, the manipulation, everything started making sense. Richard immediately contacted Isabella. For a moment, Isabella considered ignoring him. The pain he had caused remained fresh in her heart. But she remembered the lessons her mother had taught her. Forgiveness is strength, not weakness. So she agreed to meet him. When father and daughter reunited after years apart, Richard broke down in tears. "I failed you." Isabella hugged him. "You were deceived." "No," Richard replied. "I chose not to listen." The reunion was emotional. For the first time in years, they spoke honestly. Richard apologized for every mistake, and Isabella forgave him. Together, they launched a legal investigation into Vanessa's activities. The truth shocked everyone. Millions had disappeared. Assets had been secretly sold. Documents had been altered. Within months, Vanessa faced multiple lawsuits. Her reputation collapsed. Friends disappeared. Business partners abandoned her. The same people who once admired her now avoided her. Tiffany suffered the same fate. The luxurious lifestyle she loved vanished overnight. Their mansions were sold, their expensive vehicles were repossessed, their social status disappeared. One rainy afternoon, Vanessa sat alone in a small apartment, staring at old photographs from her glamorous past. Everything she had stolen, everything she had manipulated, everything she had destroyed, gone. Because greed can build an illusion, but it can never build a lasting future. Meanwhile, Isabella used her wealth to create scholarships for young women across Africa. She invested in education, technology, healthcare, and entrepreneurship programs. Her success became an inspiration to thousands. Years later, during an interview, a journalist asked her, "After everything your stepmother did, do you hate her?" Isabella smiled. "No." "Why not?" "Because hatred would make me carry her mistakes for the rest of my life. I chose something better." And what is that? Growth. The interview went viral. Millions watched it, and countless people learned an important lesson. Evil may seem powerful for a season, but character, patience, and integrity always outlast deception. Vanessa spent years trying to steal a future that was never hers. Isabella spent those same years building one of her own, and in the end, that made all the difference. Thank you for listening to this powerful African folktale. If this story inspired you, touched your heart, or taught you an important lesson, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another inspiring story. Share this story with your family and friends because someone out there may need this message today. Remember, no matter how long darkness lasts, truth eventually comes to light. No matter how powerful evil may appear, good character, patience, and integrity will always have the final victory.